Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Jane and welcome to my podcast channel. So I will be starting off with asking you to please subscribe to my podcast. If you're listening to me from AUDIOMACK, please do not forget to follow so you get notification when I post. And also, do not forget to follow on Instagram, on YouTube, and on Facebook, okay? And if you have any video requests, you can just book a session with me or kind of like have a collaboration with me. That's very fine by me. So I've actually introduced myself. Please go on YouTube, Instagram, and WeChat, so Facebook, to also like get all the information about me. Basically, I will be saying that if you want to do something and you don't feel like it, I feel like listening to audiobooks, or like listening to my show, listening to my podcast, listening to my YouTube, listening and watching. YouTube has this two advantages. Like you can listen, you can even jot notes, you can watch. I mean, even if you don't want to see the person's face, you can always put it out there, put your speaker or your earphone, and you can always listen. And if you feel like you want to watch the person as the person talks, the whole movement of the mouth and the whole vibe the person has, you can always watch on your screen, on your phone, whatever means you're watching from. And on Facebook is one of the oldest, social media platform we have in the world, and I think it's another place to go and see how diverse, how big the world is, how, everything, almost everything, all the informations you want on Facebook. It's more like a chatting network, a Google where you can even chat with. So go on the social media. I have a lot of informations about living abroad, about how to come here, about life in China, about your mental health, about living in this world as a young person, about youth. Even it can be a benefit to the younger ones, it can be a benefit to the older ones. Yes, I know what I'm talking about. So please do not forget to check me out on my social media handles. So on today's podcast, you guys, I will be talking about what should I read next? Okay, what should I read next? And I know that people might be like, do you even read books, Jane? Do you even like to read books? Do you even read so much? Well, I love to read books, you guys. I love to read books, and thank God I have people in my city here in Jinan that also have the same, goal as me, and we read books together, and then we get to meet once a month to discuss about what we read. So yeah. So why am I talking about what to read next? Why is this even a podcast topic? Why should it even be a podcast topic? So, getting along with this whole thing here, before I started reading, or before I even like to read, because I still do not have the time to read. I got lots of books behind my, on my shelf. If you look behind here, I have a shelf thing here. And I got some books there, and sometimes I read on my laptop or on my mobile. So I don't know, but I feel like books are something that takes you out of what you have in your head, or books are a direction. Books are directions to wherever you want to get to. So now it depends on what you're reading and at what time you're reading what you're reading. So on today, in my opinion and in my perspective, I would like to, talk to us about what I think about when to read what. Okay. The first thing I would say is it depends on your situation. Okay, it depends on your situation, because you cannot just how do I put it? It depends on you. Okay, it depends on your situation, and it depends on is this what I want to read? For example, I am not a fan of reading biographies. Okay, I am not a fan of reading biographies. I can't just like sit down and start listening over and over again about the same person, or else maybe I bump into an audiobook, but like sitting down to read about biography, not really. I would give that a 20%. So we have to understand that it depends on our current situation, depends on whom we are, it depends on our interest, Yeah, and you cannot just open a book and start reading. It has to interest you. It has to be an interest of your kind, Yeah, so you have to, number one, obviously, know the situation at hand, and number two is to know what to read, like what kind of books do you want to read. For example, you have a lot of questions about, maybe you're having some relationship problems, like some marriage problems, and you need some answers, and you don't have the means to talk to therapy, and you don't have the means to probably talk to someone because you may feel shy about it, or you may feel like, I don't want to put my story out there, and it's totally okay. I said in my previous podcast that whatever you're thinking is normal. Whatever our thought is, they are normal. Let us not beat ourselves. Let us just stop it, actually. Let's stop beating ourselves when we think about, when we think about something that may not be as normal as you want it to be. We start beating ourselves. We start being like, oh, I'm not like this person. I'm not like that person. Whatever thoughts we have, it is valid. So now it's time to know the next step on what to do with our thought, and also how to, how to follow the thoughts. Are we gonna follow it? Are we gonna nurture it? Are we gonna throw ourselves out there? Are we just gonna put negativity on our head because we're thinking like human? We're all human. So books, when it comes to relationship, books like Michael Todd or Mung Ray, or I'm not sure about all their names. Okay, I'm not a guru here, like Chapman. Okay, I think the best relationship book I've read so far is the 5 Love Languages for single and married people, the married and single edition. Okay, I think they have for kids as well. So I think at that moment of my life, I wanted to get things right in my relationship. I wanted to know if there is a place I am missing. I wanted to know, am I doing the right thing? Am I not doing some things? Where can I improve on? Reading books are just a way to improve ourselves and also to add more knowledge. So I wanted to read the 5 Love Languages because I needed to know what it takes, to love someone else, and then the proper way. And then I read something like Single, Married, Divorced, and Trapped. I mean, it's okay, yeah. And so I think we also have to know what kind of book to read, and what kind of what situation of our life and our thinking. I think so. All right, so I think that is my second point, and my third point, I think, would be, if you're feeling something. For example, I just gave an example of the relationship, right? And what to read. You don't just have a problem or questions about relationship and then go to reading maybe like how to build a robot or like a science book. Yeah. So I think we have to define what we need to read at what time we need to read it, so we get the answer we want, not just doing like having something here and doing another thing. So yeah, these are more like what I have to say about what you need to read and at what time you need to read them. And also I made example of relationship, right? So I'm also going to mention about the self talk, if you've not watched my podcast or listened to my podcast where I talked about self-talk with Valerie, she's my guest. She was my guest for that day, and we talked about self-talk, how to effectively have a self-talk within yourself, your body, and your spirit. So we made mention of a lot. Journaling, we made mention of meditation, yoga, and all of those things. So yeah, when you feel like something, or you're lost in an aspect rather, or you feel like you just want to get some answers, you know what to read, you can always use the Google resources, or you can always type what to read for like self-talk, or what to read for relationship related topics, and something like that. Even if like motivational books, there are a lot of affirmations, motivational books like the daily journaling in how to do this, how to do that. And by the way, you can go on YouTube, on my channel on YouTube, and you can see where I an edition, or rather a series of videos. It's on a playlist. It's called the HTC series. Okay, you can go there and see my also. You can also listen. You can also watch on how to do a lot of things. Okay, so these are like a guide to knowing what you want and what you need to read, and at what time you need to read it. Yeah, just get your idea, get when you want to get something, like what's in your head. You want to talk about relationship, or maybe probably you have an exam, or like you have some questions on some doubts on some particular places, a really area in life. You can always get resources for that, and know what to do and know what to read. Okay, so I think maybe I could mention one or two books. I'm not really good with names. Okay, if you know me too well, I'm not like, the names do not stick. So in this case, because I hardly remember names, I hardly remember like someone is this blah 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 blah. So in this case, what kind of book am I supposed to read? Like, can you just ask yourself? Like, I'm just gonna give you like 10 seconds to ask yourself, in your situation at this particular point, you're listening to me at this point, what kind of book, what kind of things are troubling you, and what kind of books do you think you need to read? Okay, I'm just gonna give you like 10 seconds. 10 seconds up. I think it's almost up, and now it is up. Okay, so actually for me, I want to learn how to remember people's names. So what kind of book can do I have to read? Like, I have to maybe probably read mindfulness, or trying to read books, or kind of like get resources on meditations and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm gonna put a disclaimer out there. I have construction going on. I think they're having a construction and the nearby buildings, whatever. So yeah, I'm just gonna put it out there. Know what you want to read according to what answers you want to get. You don't just go everywhere reading everything. You're gonna get very confused. Like when I was preparing to start my business, I started with the Rich Dad Poor Dad and the Richest Man in Babylon. These are two nice books to read. And when I started like I needed a change in attitude, I started reading the Atomic Attitude. It was a long book. Okay, so I read halfway, and then I listened to the end of the book. And I also read with my book club, because in 2022, I think 2022, we read like a book a month. That's like we read 12 books in 2022, and it was did we read The Richest Man in Babylon? I can't remember, you guys. I can't remember. So these are like, it channeled us. We had fictions. We read horror. We read self-help books. We read romantic books. Yeah, we read a lot of books every month, like different kinds of books every month. One book. Okay, one book. All right. So these are more like channeling, and it's also nice to have a community, where you guys can read together and share ideas together. So you might also pick, and you will definitely pick one or two points from what they've said. So yeah, so guys, because of the construction, I'm not gonna make this podcast so long. I am not so happy about it, but whatever. So I've just given you guys the key points on how a very good guide, the best guide probably, on how to read what and when to read what. All right, guys, I'm gonna see you, and I'm gonna see you in my next video and podcast, and also obviously my normal YouTube videos, interviews, and vlogs. Bye!